Welcome everybody to Blerdlines. This is your man Cam. With me is,
Professor D, what's up, everybody?
and we are here checking out the latest trailer for The Boys, the final season. Imagine that.
I need you, Father.
Did you me?
What?
Is this some kind of incest thing?
No.
Jensen Ackles has been a favorite of mine for a long time because I'm a big fan of Supernatural. Whenever he has like moments like that, it's always like a great payoff in the humor department because
Oh
he's
yeah.
the one that can sell just that moment like that. But also Anthony Starr is excellent as Homelander.
The biggest thing I would say when I watched the first season of The Boys comparable to the book, I was like, oh, okay, the book's a little bit better. But the second season, I was like, okay, the show's better. And the reason being is now the show is coalesced around the characters that are actually the most impacted in the show, which is Homelander as well, and then the boys themselves. And so the book to me, in a little backstory in the book for folks that don't know, so Garth Ennis just finished a run with DC and Marvel, and he was pissed at both of them because he was just annoyed at the tropes and all that stuff. So he was like, I'm going to write something that's the antithetical of all of the dumb shit in Marvel and DC and make fun of all of it. So the book is exactly that. And it's despicable. It's the horrible. The characters are vapid. And like, there really is no redeeming qualities for the suits. And then Butcher and his crew, they're a little bit more redeemable, but their main goal is to get rid of all the suits. To that end, you see parodies of like the X-Men, you see parodies of Teen Titans, you see parodies of all these things, and they're all like decrepit and immoral people. And so I would say the show did a better job of one keeping the narrative beats of the story of the book, but then also highlighting and fleshing out characters that are just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the part that the book kind of just glossed over. Where I would say the show they give the seven a little bit more redeeming value. Soldier Boy is a great example where in the books he's not little in it, but he's not that much in it. Where they make him a very central part of this. Same with the boys as well. They fleshed them out a little bit better than they were in the books, and so then their casting is just on point. Like Anthony Starr just kills it, and to the point now where he's like, "Yo, people come up to me like I'm Homelander," and I'm like, "Dog."
Yeah, people are like looking at or afraid of him and all this stuff. And
he's like the nicest dude.
yeah, he's plays such an effective villain because he's not that person. So he can step into those shoes comfortably and say, I don't think like this person. He is despicable. He is a piece of trash that hopefully will get his comeuppance. But until that happens, I'll have fun bringing him to life, basically. And
love to hate him. Love to hate him.
The parody is that this is a skewering of capitalism, of commercialism, specifically the commercialism that's built around superhero culture. If anything, The Boys TV show was granted a boom that didn't exist when Garth Ennis wrote the comics, which is the MCU. The MCU, and obviously the Seven is more like the Justice League than the Avengers in terms of
definitely
those characters and their power and influence. The Justice League was an organization that was basically a paramilitary, grew into being like almost its own world government and controlling body in the world, complete with the Watchtower and everything. Whereas the Avengers were always scattered and had to be brought together. Typically, they had their organization, but it wasn't like they were always on duty. With the Seven and with the Justice League, if you're popping off too bad, Superman or Homelander is there in the blink of an eye.
What I do like about it is we're getting more. This was kind of following that trend when it first came out. It was like Umbrella Academy was another one, Invincible was another one. It was a lot of comics that were going to the screen that weren't your typical big two. The Old Guard actually on Netflix, that was a comic as well. So there was a lot of good stuff where I was actually enjoying this new wave of like indie comics getting to the big screen and how they get portrayed. And like someone's like, this is cool. Like you need, again, the superhero fatigue kind of is real, but there's also so many cool stories out there. And
I think the commercialism aspect of it is what creates the fatigue, because that's where Marvel is doubled down, right? Because they don't wait to scripts are finished, and
they will license everything in their mama. So you have one movie and it has a $20 million of licensing merch that's gonna be all over the place, plastered everywhere.
Yeah,
annoying.
Exactly. So people aren't annoyed by having superheroes on screen, because that's been happening since the 60s, really, right? Even before, but it became what it is now. It started in the 80s, right? With the or 70s with Superman, the movie, in the 80s with Batman, and then the rest is history. But
Yeah,
now we have a situation where we're overloaded with a lot of this stuff. The bigger issue
yeah,
is the requirement in terms of following its story. And I think that's going back to what your point about the independent stuff
mhm,
being adapted, is that you're able to step away from having to needing 20 years of Marvel movie knowledge in your brain in order to fully comprehend what you're seeing in a Marvel movie in 2023 or 2024. That disconnect is what strengthens people's relationship with The Boys or with Invincible or Umbrella Academy, and some of these old guard, some of these stories that, again, they aren't a part of the big two, so they can do more
yeah.
things and do different things that we don't usually see with DC or Marvel.
The Boys TV show for sure is definitely brought in a different type of audience that was maybe even a little bit bored or getting fatigued of the Marvel and DC stuff, and so this was a great parody on that, and people kind of got latched into it and really enjoyed it too as well. And like you said, I don't think people will really go. I think some people will go and read the books, which I hope they do. I always recommend it, so it's actually super entertaining. But
And
if
it's
nothing
good to
else,
see the differences in how the medium adapted it. Like it's good to
exactly.
get that difference in if you are truly if you're truly a fan, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're both ready to see how this is going to play out, how they finish it up.
They didn't overstay their welcome. They elevated a lot of the stars that are involved in the
Yeah,
material.
definitely.
It'll be a fun ending to
Yeah, I
this
definitely.
story, I think.
Yep, I
Brutal
definitely
and
agree.
a little, and likely a lot of us are going to have to turn away many times.
The one thing I would say about the boys in general is it's very violent in the book,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they be cutting people up and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the show
Um,
did pick that up. I mean, they
yeah,
don't fence on the graphic violence that
yeah.
is from the inspired by the books.
We're looking forward to see it. We'll talk to you guys soon and later.